told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Well, I'm going to take a little break on this seat as we're walking down here. We'll just talk a little bit about it, but not too long. It was built in 1851 and took in people that today we would understand far more of. People with depression, people with postnatal depression, people that were shell-shocked, people that were mentally ill. But these days we would understand it more. It wasn't understood then, and these poor people were treated in some cases quite badly in life, and unfortunately, as you will see in this hidden cemetery, quite badly in death. And the cemetery was closed in 1966 when it met maximum capacity of 4,000 people. It sounds like a lot, but in 144 years that equates to 2 a month, but still too many. So not far from the hospital, under a shaded tree in a beautiful location, these poor people interned here, up to 9 people per grave, a total of 4,000. And the disgusting part about all this is that all the gravestones, when the area was developed, were ripped up, and where they've gone, I've no idea. So if you've got any idea, please let me know. But I think I have to come here and show these people some sort of respect. Very sad indeed that a lot of the plots have been destroyed in this way. Some of the people here would have had grave markers, those iron spiky things with numbers on. Some would have had curbs, like a curbstone with a name on there, and some would have had the gravestones that we can see behind us here. But most of them today will be treated with respect. There were a lot of people that didn't have family, a lot of people that had no roots, and they were termed as probably being an inconvenience in death as well as in life. And I think our past generation should be ashamed of that, to be honest. And this grave here as well, it's so sad, I can't tell you. It's just ideal to come here and see what modern times have done to these poor people. They were treated so badly in life, in some cases, and followed through and treated badly in death. So we'll carry on and have a look and see what else we can find. And here, where they've been digging a land drain, you can see there's a broken up piece of headstone here. Immensely sad. I don't know what to say, but very sad indeed. The complete burial site is on a hill, and you can see that they've cleared this patch here, so there is still some evidence of graves down in there. So I'm going to go down in and have a look. Well, almost like a scene from a sad horror movie, but these graves here just go to show what little is left in this very sacred place. And there's bits of stone around everywhere you look, which obviously show evidence that the originals may have been broken up. So very sad to think that we can only see 4 gravestones that remain from the 4,000. Those poor people. But it is great to come and see, and puts life very much into perspective. Well, this is one of the only properly identified graves here, of Elizabeth Dulcie Sharrock, and it's nice to see, but just one out of all those graves. Very sad place, but all part of the history. Well, I'm stood by what would have been the old gateway into the cemetery grounds, which has all been blocked off. So obviously there's no real approved access to it from the way that it was designed. This here behind me is the road entrance to the cemetery from Drew's Pond Lane, and it's all full up with gravel and totally blocked off. You can't get in there, so there's no easy access to actually see where these poor souls are, but it certainly does refresh your mind and make you thankful for everything you have. Well, in amongst the area where the graves are, you can see there's not much left to see at all, but you can sort of come to terms with it, thinking of it as almost like a woodland burial now. So I hope these people have a good rest in peace. And yet more evidence of broken headstones in this area, so they might have just smashed them up. It really is quite an emotional time for me to think that somebody would do that and legally get away with it. Just over here and behind me you can see the evidence of the railings that were once the boundary of the cemetery, and you can just about see the outline of it as you look. There was a chapel of rest and a mortuary, and they were destroyed in the so-called redevelopment of the area. But the way we treated history, even in my lifetime, sometimes leaves a lot to be desired. But it's a great place to come and visit and to get in touch with history, to feel it, to handle it, to know what bad things happen to these poor people. So I'm stood on the old concrete base of the chapel here, and it's a lovely area today. Years ago it wasn't, but we lack care for people, which really does get to me quite badly. It really does get to your heart on that one. Well, behind me here you get a good view of what was, in the old terms, the lunatic asylum, then turned into eventually Rainway Hospital, then in 1995 sold off and eventually developed, if you can call it that, into housing. But there's some lovely little houses there. I was speaking to a couple, they love living there, really nice. Well, I think I'm just going to sit here for a while and enjoy the peace of the area before I go. But it certainly does put things into perspective, and history as a whole into perspective. And please remember, at the end of the day, history is the past and also our future, and it can be fun. So I'm going to be ending my trip where we started, at the first two graves. It's so sad to think that we've only got sort of in the region of 5 graves marked out of 4,000. But part of everyday history, and I hope you've enjoyed watching, and you'll watch again.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to grey as you fade away, as you fade away.